Hi guys, today we will be discussing common probability distribution. So first we need to define what a probability distribution is. Okay, so a probability distribution is basically a list of all possible outcomes of an event along with its associated probabilities. Okay, so to give a more concrete example, here's the, let's write the probability distribution of a fair six-sided dice. So we are going to first list the possible outcomes that we may get when we roll a dice. So, these are the possible outcomes. You can get a 1, you can get a 2, 3, 4, 5, or 6, right? So these are the possible outcomes when you roll a six-sided dice. And what are the probabilities associated with each of these? Okay, so probability of getting a 1 is 1 by 6. Probability of getting a 2 is 1 by 6, so on and so forth. Okay, so this is my probability distribution. Now let's define what a discrete uniform distribution is. Okay, so let's read the distribution individually. Let's read each of these words individually. Now, what is discrete? Discrete means that you can count the number of outcomes. When you can count the number of outcomes, right, then such a distribution is going to be discrete. That is, the number of outcomes are finite, right? It's only when the number of outcomes are finite that you can count them, right? So if a distribution, if you can count the number of outcomes, that's going to be a discrete distribution. Then let's read the second word, which is uniform. Now what does uniform mean? It means that probability of each outcome is same. Each outcome is equally likely, right? So this distribution that I have drawn here, that I have written here, it's the distribution of a fair six-sided dice. So here we can count the number of outcomes, right? So in all there are six outcomes, right? In all there are six outcomes. We can count the number of outcomes on our fingertips, right? So we'll say that this distribution is discrete, right? And the probability of each outcome is the same, right? Each outcome is equally likely, so we'll also call this uniform, right? So this fair six-sided dice follows a discrete uniform distribution. Let's take another example. When you toss a coin, what are the possible outcomes? There are two possible outcomes. You can get a tail or you can get a head. And the probability associated with both of these outcomes are 1 by 2. Each outcome is equally likely, right? Each outcome is equally likely. So this distribution is also discrete uniform. Why discrete? Because you can count the number of outcomes. There are two outcomes. And why uniform? Because the probability associated with each outcome is the same, right? Each outcome is equally likely. So this is your discrete uniform distribution, right? Hope you have got a grasp of it. Next distribution that we are going to discuss is a continuous uniform distribution, right? I'm going to follow up with continuous uniform distribution in my next video. Hope you enjoyed this session, guys.